Hello and welcome everyone. Salam alaikum. حابين نرحب فيكم. We will be starting shortly. We're just waiting for other attendees to come. So inshallah بنبتدي بعد شوي. شكرا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم. حبيت طبعا أرحب بكل اللي موجودين معنا اليوم، مشاهدينا our dear speakers الكل، ونرحب فيكم في مؤتمر المرأة والأزياء العالمي الافتراضي طبعا في نسخته الثانية تحت عنوان الاستدامة. طبعا مؤتمرنا بيكون من تاريخ 1 ل 8 يوليو، بيكون في خلال 8 أيام بنتعرف على كل هالمواضيع اللي تخص المرأة في مجال الأزياء. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very good to have everyone here. I really hope that my voice is clear and everyone can see and hear me clearly. We would like to welcome you to the second edition of the Global Women Virtual Fashion Forum and Show. And of course, we would like to thank Midpoint and the Night Training Center for hosting this amazing forum. I was there last year. We've met a lot of people and we've learned a lot and we got a lot of insights. Of course, the Global Women Virtual Fashion Forum and Show is a great platform that highlights every topic that relates to women's development in various sectors, especially entrepreneurship, fashion, and design, and aims to motivate them to develop their abilities and skills through a group of experts and international speakers of great repute who will definitely provide them an opportunity for improvement and growth, along with stepping to the next level to enhance their inner creativity that will support them, of course, in all fields. Now, without any further ado, I would like to introduce the chairwoman and CEO of Midpoint Design Bahrain, Her Excellency Sheikha Noura bint Khalifa Al Khalifa, for her welcoming notes. Sheikha Noura, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on the second editions of Global Women Virtual Fashion Show and Forum. I would like to thank all the speakers who join us today and will be joining us for the coming 8 days. It is a really honor to have all this gathering and from all around the world. 162 women from different parts of the world. It is a real honor to have you all here. I would like to thank all the attendees in our Zoom platforms and in our live on YouTube or on the Facebook with us. And thank you so much. I hope all of you have an amazing experience with us and benefits from the amazing speaker that we have. I would like to thank all our sponsors and all our supporters, from the Chamber of Commerce to the supporters who support the event media-wise and supporting us as a sponsor as well. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoy the evening. Sarah, you can.
Yes. Hello. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sheikha Noura. So everyone, as Sheikha Noura said, we hope that you enjoy our sessions, inshallah, and it will be of benefit to all of you. I think we're going to go right ahead and start with our first plenary session, which is of course titled The Role of Women Leaders for Empowering Talented Women. And in this session, we have two amazing women leaders. We have Her Royal Highness Queen Diambi Kambutsuela from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and we have Dr. Susie Dattenberg, the Queen of Bikweta in Ghana. We would like to start with Her Royal Highness Queen Diambi. It's very good to have you here with us. We'd like to welcome you, and if you can give us a few words of introduction into what you do.
Hello, everyone. Greetings to Royal Highnesses and the distinguished guests and panelists. I'm very happy to be here with you. Again, I would like, first of all, to apologize for maybe the sound condition. I'm in the middle of another conference because this conference was supposed to be my morning, but now that it's the afternoon, and I understand and I'm happy to accommodate, but unfortunately the sound may not be perfect quality. So please forgive for that. So I am very happy to be here because fashion for me is really something that is amazing to follow. I am myself involved into different projects with fashion. And I think that fashion is not just about an entrepreneur opportunity to build a business and to make a living, but it's also about expression. It's also about culture. It's also about empowerment. And as an African queen, an African leader of my community of the Bakwaluntu people of Kasai in the Democratic Republic of Congo, as well as Grande Mai do Povo Bantu Brasileiro, representing the African traditional queen of the African descendants of Brazil, it's really imperative that we bring diversity in the midst of fashion. So there is diversity not just in styles, but also in way of working. So we have to highlight, different mentalities, different skills that are developed in different regions of the world, different techniques, different materials. So it goes beyond just looking different. It also is about, expressing really the cultural diversity. So as a leader, my really primordial goal is to support every fashion, primordial from Congo, but everywhere else. And I will talk to you more about some of my initiatives that are now becoming international. I'm sorry. I couldn't.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I would like to know more about. Thank you very much for that introduction. I want to talk about what do you think is the platform or methodology used to create the more friendly environment for women to ensure the fruitfulness or progress of women in this industry?
Well, I actually think that what I just mentioned about diversity and is really important because, in the Western world, most of the fashion industry is really a men's world, but that's not the case everywhere else, and especially in Africa. In Africa, the fashion world is really dominated mainly by women. So to just, talk about another continent and see what's going on in different cultures can also bring about some balance in showcasing that women have a forefront role to play in fashion. After all, a lot of the fashion, either we wear it or we love to look at all our men wearing it or our children wearing it. So I think that the fashion should indeed incorporate more women perspective. And sometimes I see designs that are often designed by men, but they're for women. And sometimes they look so fabulous, but they are so uncomfortable maybe to wear. And so I think that, women have to be more involved into every aspect of the technicality of design, not just the aspect of things or the like for, beautiful design, but also everything that has to do with the body of a woman and how it responds to different, cuts and designs and so forth. But definitely culture, involving more cultural diversity will also include women, because like I said, in Africa, fashion is really a woman's business mainly.
Yes. Well, talking about culture, of course, I'm sure there are some cultural difficulties that maybe women in this industry face. What do you think are the cultural difficulties or obstacles that they face?
I can really talk about coming from Africa and really representing an ancient traditional, traditional heritage. I know for many, many years, I lived in Africa, I grew up in Africa, and we are really not represented in the global stage. And not only Africa, but there's a lot of, different communities and different, different cultures that are really almost suppressed. So there is some kind of need for sustainability of culture as well. When we talk about sustainability, I don't only talk about material and processes, but I also say that we have to sustain our diversity and all these cultures. So that has to be included. So when I grew up, or even as a woman, what we see in the media, what we see in the magazines, what we see, it's never really much about a lot of diversity, or you have to go to like specialized magazines from your region. But the global magazines, the global, television that we see every day really act as if it was only one standard, which is more like the Western standard. And sometimes when we have to, shift a little bit into our culture, like I had to do it when I became a queen, it's like we have to really reinvent ourselves to even be comfortable in our own culture and feeling unapologetically who we are and being proud of wearing the colors of our country or the colors of our culture or religion or whatever it can be that is typical of who we are. So attesting our identity is something we have to start talking more in schools of fashion, in panels like this one. We have to make people aware that if we don't take a look and acknowledge the great diversity, we are all missing out. So it's important that even those who are the leaders in the fashion industry, I think that they find a lot of their inspiration by looking at other people, but they have to then acknowledge it and not just take it as if it was their own.
Yes. I wanted to ask if you have any experience in mentorship, if you can tell us a true story experience about, I don't know, any woman in this industry that you've seen the story come true. If you can tell us.
Absolutely. I can tell you, first of all, my own story,
Yes.
where I became a queen, a traditional queen of Africa, which is something many people don't always know about, and they don't know, have you seen a queen of Africa, in the media? It's very rare. I think I'm starting to be one of the most known African traditional queen. I'm not the only one, of course. But when I became a queen, I didn't even know how should I look to represent my people in the modern days, but also with my traditional and ancestral heritage. So then I had to create my own line of clothing. And to do that, I didn't go to the fancy designers, even the ones of Congo who are well known, but I went into the neighborhood that are more modest and found talents there. And I worked with them to create my own line, the Queen Diambi collection. And the Queen Diambi collection was basically a prototype line to basically have clothes to dress an African modern queen, but also with traditional attributes, and then to showcase it in the world and to just present it. So I use my own, efforts and my own means to really present to the world some of the work of my designers who come from very modest area of the Congo. So all of that has been done for the past 4 years now, and I have now something really great to share. Just last week, I become an associate lecturer at the Jimmy Choo Academy of Fashion in London. So that's so I can mentor more children, more youth, and show them that talk to them about that diversity and bring them to Africa to let them experience something different and to incorporate that experience into the way they express themselves, into the way they express their design. So it's all about bridges. Mentorship is all about encouraging people. It's all about looking at the talents and realizing that everybody needs a hand sometime. And with wisdom and age, we can really bring much more than just, technicalities and theory. We can really engage the youth into practice and into innovative practice.
Yes. Well, Queen Diambi, thank you very much. I would like to move to Dr. Susie and have a chat with her, and maybe if you can stay with us, we can go back and forth between you.
Yes, I will try, because I'm also called in another conference just in a few minutes. But I will try, and I also want to greet Her Royal Highness that's going to be speaking. She's one of my sisters, and I love her very much. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Susie Duttenberg, the Queen of Biqueta from Ghana. It's very good to have you here with us today. Welcome. If you can tell us about yourself and your experience, of course, in empowering talented women in this industry today.
Well, thank you very much for having me here, and thank you very much, Queen Diamba. Good to see you here, and to all the other members who are participating in the conference and who are listening. I think the main question, my experience with Africa is different. I got involved in Africa, I built up schools, and I built up, in the end, I handed them back to a community who then made me their queen, which is in Ghana, in my area, hereditary. So, but I've learned mainly from working in Africa as a foreigner, but now as a person who feels African, is that there's a need of self-respect and pride in being African. And as Queen Diamba just said, everybody's looking in Africa to being like us or being European. They have creams which make them lighter, they have hair straightening and all that. I think it's time to enjoy diversity, enjoy the fact that one has curly hairs, enjoy that and play with it and see what you can do in an artistic sense. Art in Europe has always been inspired by African art. And I think fashion is the next inspiration for European art, which fashion at the moment is quite dull and repetitive. The colors are very mute, similar to what I'm wearing now. And African art and fashion is incredibly inspirational.
Well, that's amazing. I wanted to ask about what you think is the right platform or methodology that we can use to create a more fruitful environment where women in this industry can really be fruitful and be more creative.
Well, the problems are always twofold. The first one is really, in a more simple way, the governance. If women don't have the same rights to have bank accounts, own land, own money, do business, then this is obviously a huge drawback. On the other hand, I think particularly in Africa, women make more progress on gender equality than, most women work, for example, and on that front they work very well together. I think a problem is that whatever Africa creates is not really heard in the West. So there's an amazing amount of achievements in the art and in the fashion world. When you go around the market, it's just impressive what you see. And I think what we actually lack is not their work or inspiration, but hearing about it in the West. Now, one thing I do I run Africa's largest social media platform. And what I do is I source people and qualities and opportunities and creativities. And I share my experience with these people, with Western designers. So I'm involved in the art world, but not as an artistic or creative person, but as a communicator to bridge that gap.
Well, that's what I wanted also to ask you about what we can do to overcome those challenges and those maybe cultural differences. What do you think, what advice can you give a women in the industry that are interested and want to thrive?
I think to just go onto Western platform or platform like yourself and show what they have. And I think platforms should just make, particularly for Africans, free of charge space available and possibly charge afterwards, if it comes to a deal. Because for a lot of Africans, not just the money, but also the process of paying is a hurdle. And I think as a part of social responsibility and helping and supporting and long-term good business sense, we should give them an entrance which is as cheap as possible.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much. Is there anything else you would like to add for this session?
I would like to add that you have to really review our stereotypes about Africa. The most interesting thing about Africa is the cultural diversity. It's most impressive. And I think social media or fintech, all these have overcome the problems of what we typically talk about Africa, like corruption. And all these things are now overcomable. And people, the earlier you start with accepting it and saying, I dare to trade with Africa, that's are going to be the winners.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Queen Diambe, I don't know if you have anything else you would like to add before we end our session.
Actually, I think I can piggyback on that and tell people the same thing, is that, give Africa a second look. Because there is so much ideas, so much creativity, so much ingenuity that is not being tapped into. And because sometimes people, they find some of the difficulties of Africa to be a deterrent. But I think it shouldn't be. I think people should take the courage to go beyond what the comfort zone is and to start integrating another, way of looking at things, and then, incorporate more designers from Africa in the fashion. And then, as my sister Queen said, facilitate, because of course we have some difficulties into accessing some of the highest grade platforms of fashion in the world. So that's what I would want to say. And of course, thank you for inviting me, and thank you to Sheikha Nuha Al Khalifa, who kindly invited me on this panel.
Thank you very much. Thank you to both our highnesses for joining us here today. It was a pleasure. Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. So, of course, we've had an amazing conversation about the role of women leaders for empowering talented women. And I think diversity is key here, and embracing your culture and your cultural differences, and be able to thrive. So the next plenary session, we will be talking about the role of chambers of commerce and women's societies in supporting the retail and fashion businesses throughout the pandemic. Sheikh Noura, is there anything else you would like to add before we start this session? Or you're good to go? Because I see that your camera's here.
I would like to thank Queen Diambi and Queen Susie for being part of the event. This is the first time that there is support from Africa, and for them being there and supporting the fashion designers from Africa, it's a really amazing thing and blessing to have on this fashion forum. And I hope to see more African designers. And I hope that everyone enjoy their designs, inshallah, on the fashion show after the event.
Thank you very much, Sheikh Noura. So it's time to start our next session. And of course, we have 4 speakers in this session, which will be talking about the role of the Chambers of Commerce and women's societies in supporting the retail and fashion businesses throughout the current pandemic. I'd like to introduce Ms. Manizha Wafiq, the head of Afghanistan Chamber of Commerce and Industries. We'll be introducing the rest shortly, but I would like to welcome her first. Ms. Manizha, can you welcome, of course, and can you tell us more about your experience in this industry and the Chamber of Commerce and Industries?
Good evening, everyone, and good morning if colleagues have joined from the West. It's really an honor to be with all of you. Thank you very much to Sheikh Noura and all the organizers of this great event. And it's just a pleasure to be with all of you this evening and to talk about the fashion and retail industry of women in Afghanistan and how Afghanistan Women's Chamber of Commerce and Industry has been supportive. So it has been 4 years that the Afghanistan Women's Chamber of Commerce and Industry has been established, and we have collected some facts and figures on women-owned businesses in Afghanistan, which did not exist earlier. Today, we have over 2,471 formal businesses. They're registered, they have licenses, and they work with a license, pay taxes, and so on. And we have really a lot of informal businesses. So there are more than 54,500 of them who are working informally. They do not have any formal license and do not pay taxes. So they do not work in the framework of the Afghan laws and so on. And so it's also very much difficult to reach out to them and to support them. So we have been very much limited to the ones that are formal businesses, yes. And among the 2,471, half of them are in traditional businesses. And what we say traditional businesses in Afghanistan, how we define. These are the businesses that are mostly in handicraft. Mostly the handicraft businesses are in a lot of clothing, including carpet and the varieties of carpet. But a lot of them are in clothing. So they use different types of embroidery that we do in Afghanistan. Our women are doing a huge variety of embroidery in Afghanistan and rural areas and also including in the cities. And so those fashion industry, which is not very much fashion industry at this moment, but we hope that we turn it into a fashion industry. They are using those hand embroideries, all different types of them, into modern and a little bit of Western style clothing. So the traditional clothing that women used to wear in Afghanistan, those traditional embroidery do not remain to the traditional clothing, but also are transferred into now modern clothing. And so the industry is doing well in terms of how they have come up very creatively, as I said, to use these handmade embroideries in the very modern and Western style clothing, dresses, both for formal and informal, and as well as party, very fashionable dresses, night dresses. And so, I was just going to also talk about the pandemic, how unfortunately it took all of us in surprise in the last almost now 1.5 years. And we couldn't help much because Afghanistan, unfortunately, we do not have the infrastructure for digital marketing and digital sales. We were not very much able to really help them in terms of doing online sales and selling online, not only within Afghanistan, but also outside. And within Afghanistan, we tried a little bit. We helped them in terms of selling it to the local customers, and in return, taking cash when it's delivered, which is not very safe way of doing it. So anyways, this is a general overview of how it has been and what we're doing with our fashion industry these days or for the last few years.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Menezha, for this insightful information. Thank you very much. I'd like to move on to Her Excellency Dr. Amani Al-Asfour, IPIP International Federation of Business and Professional Women, President of African Business Council, President of Afro-Arab Network for Women Empowerment, and President of Businesswomen Association from Egypt. Your Excellency Dr. Amani, it's good to have you here with us today. Thank you very much for your commuting. So thank you for taking this time and joining us. So Amani, can you tell us more about what you do and of course the role of the chambers and women's associations in supporting women in the fashion industry?
Thank you very much, Sheikh Anura. I really appreciate this very important webinar about fashion industry. I thank all the organizers. I am happy to join. Actually, I'm in a train in Rome. I'm coming for Presencia, where I made an agreement for the women in jewelry. So how to promote the women in the jewelry industry, which is part also of the fashion industry here in next September. So as my role as the immediate past president of International Federation of Business and Professional Women and the current president of Africa Business Council, we have a strategy really for economic empowerment of women, especially in different sectors. So if we talk about the fashion industry, we all know that the global apparel market is about $1.5 trillion, which is a huge market, but 73% actually of fashion designers are women. But who are really having the most worth from this money? Who is benefiting? It's men. So how are we going as business organization, as chambers of commerce? I have a strategy where I call it the triangle of empowerment. It's based on 3 pillars: the people, the policy, and the. So what we do is really about the people, how we empower the fashion designers to be really well educated, to have their enterprises, to make their marketing, how they are really trained to be connected, to be financed, they have the special self-confidence, self-esteem, the exposure. This is about her personality, her people. The second issue about the policy. What does the policy advocacy, how do advocate for this, for reference to women and legislation for better laws for women? One of the things we are advocating for is about government procurement. We all know that the government procurement is $15 trillion per year. Women have only access to 1%. So for instance, in the fashion sector, if we really promote women procurement to have at least 30% of all government procurement goes to SMEs, women and youth, then we will really achieve a lot. Kenya has implemented this. As chair of Commerce Business Council, I was advocating for this. I'm president of Kenya now. 30% of all government procurement goes to SMEs, women, youth, and people with disabilities. So this is a very affirmative action towards empowering women to have a concrete action, not to compete with multinational companies or with big industries, but they have their own stage. The third pillar, actually, and also one of us, also we're advocating for financial inclusion, because if you want to set up, a woman want to set up a fashion industry, she want to set up a factory, she needs finance. So financial inclusion is a huge huge impediment towards really her growth. So this is also one thing that we really have to empower women through financial inclusion, access to credit. The third pillar is the product. So if she's empowered and she's good, she's educated, she knows all the trade agreements and the policies in place, what products she has to offer. That's why we are looking for a competitive, standard, quality product that she can offer to the society and to the international world. So we help to set up business incubators in order to promote her, to help her to have a good product, to help her to add value to the product, branding, designing, packaging. A brand, it is very important. For instance, under my authority now, 54 countries in Africa, we have a lot of women have lovely fabrics, doing a great job, but the fabrics, for instance, and the prints is not intellectually property. They don't make patency for the fabrics. So China come and have all the nice fabrics and they just replicate it without intellectual property. Second issue is really about the standardization. We have to have a standard, and that's why not everybody in Africa or our women have access to the global market, because if you need the corporates and the big buyers to buy from the women, they need to have a standard product. And that's what we're really looking to see, how we empower our women to have this standardization. Of course, competitive is very important. That's why under Africa Business Council, now I am establishing a fashion industry working group and cluster that we will work together to see how we empower our women in Africa, to see how they have a standardization, competitive, and to see how we can able to market their products for them across the continent, across the world. That's why I'm here in Italy today, to empower our women to have booths for them in the jewelry industry. You know that in Africa, we have a lot of minerals, name it, the gold, the diamond, the gemstones, the precious stones, the tanzanite, everything, but they are exported as raw materials. So what we are trying to do now is to build the capacity and train the women to cut the stones to make hand jewelry. And this is really about the whole triad of empowerment, the 3 pillars, to make sure that we empower our women. And I always say, and end my speeches, I say that we need to economically empower the women. Why? To have financial independence. Why? To have their power of choice and voice. So this is really very important. And I always end by an African proverb which says, if you want to go fast, you go alone. If we want to go far, we go together. That's why I'm happy that we are here together. Thank you, Sheikha Noura. Thank you for everybody for arranging this. And I think fashion industry is a huge sector that can we all work for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your very interesting pieces of advices, of course. I love this. If you want to go far, let's go together. And thank you for taking the time and you being in a train. Well, thank you very much indeed. Sheikha Noura, if you have any words before we move on to our next speaker.
Yes, thank you so much, Your Excellency Ms. Alwani, and thank you so much for all the speakers who was part of it, especially from Afghanistan as well, for being part of this amazing speech.
Well, now I would like to introduce مس بتول محمد دادباي. طبعا احنا قاعد نسوي المؤتمر عربي انجلش على كل واحد على راحته. I'm sure we have viewers from all over the world. So whatever you feel comfortable in talking, you can go right ahead. عندنا الأستاذة بتول محمد دادباي, board member of the Bahrain Chambers of Commerce and Industry from the Kingdom of Bahrain. أستاذة بتول, I'm sorry, يشرفنا وجودك ويانا اليوم. Thank you very much for joining us. حبينا إذا تعرفينا على نفسك ونبي نتكلم عن دور غرفة صناعة وتجارة البحرين في دعم قطاع التجزئة والأزياء عندنا.
مساء الخير وأشكر ميد بوينت والشيخة نورا على إتاحة هذه الفرصة نكون وياكم سبيكرز في هاي البانل. هاي شرف لنا. غرفة تجارة وصناعة البحرين الممثل الرئيسي للقطاع الخاص البحريني والصوت المعبر عن مجتمع المال والأعمال بأنشطته وقطاعاته المختلفة لأكثر من 80 عاماً. لابد من الإشارة إلى الدور الريادي للغرفة في خدمة القطاعين التجاري والصناعي في المملكة، حيث تقوم الغرفة من خلال مجلس إدارتها ومركز دراساتها ولجانها القطاعية 10 لجان بالدفاع عن هموم ومصالح القطاع الخاص، وذلك بالتعاون والتنسيق والشراكة والحوار المباشر بين جميع الجهات. ومن الجدير بالذكر أن إدارة الغرفة ودورها في خدمة أعضائها قد شهدت تطوراً كبيراً منذ تأسيسها في عام 1939 حتى اليوم.
شكراً دكتور، شكراً أستاذة بتول. طبعاً نبي نعرف بحكم وجودك كعضوة في غرفة تجارة وصناعة البحرين، شنو اللي تم تقديمه لسيدات الأعمال في الغرفة أثناء جائحة كورونا؟
قامت غرفة البحرين بعديد من المبادرات في هاي الفترة، وأهم هاي المبادرات بادرت الغرفة بصورة سريعة وبقياس ورصد ما تعرض إليه القطاع الخاص من أضرار بسبب جائحة كورونا، فخرجت بتوصيات ومرئيات رفعتها للحكومة الموقرة والتي تم اعتمادها ضمن إطار الحزمة المالية. كما شاركت الغرفة عبر تقديم مرئياتها وتوصياتها لطريقة توزيع الحزمة المالية التي أقرتها الحكومة لدعم المتضررين من القطاع الخاص، والأولوية أعطيناها حق أصحاب المؤسسات الصغيرة والمتوسطة. أيضاً قام مركز الدراسات والمبادرات بالغرفة إعداد التقارير الاقتصادية حول التداعيات الاقتصادية لفيروس كورونا على الاقتصاد المحلي والعالمي، بالإضافة إلى إطلاق 3 استبيانات منذ بداية الجائحة، وقد لقى ذلك تجاوباً من القطاع الخاص عبر مشاركة أكثر من 3000 صاحب عمل في مختلف القطاعات الاقتصادية. كانت الغرفة ضمن فريق العمل برنامج استمرارية الأعمال جزء من صندوق السيولة. أعفت الغرفة أعضائها من الرسوم العضوية لمدة سنة كاملة، وذلك اعتباراً من 1 أبريل 2020 حتى 31 مارس 2021. بلغ مجموع الاشتراكات التي تم الإعفاء الأعضاء من دفعها 1.0 مليون دينار. ساهمت الغرفة في حملة فينا خير التي أطلقها سمو الشيخ ناصر بن حمد آل خليفة ممثل جلالة الملك للأعمال الإنسانية وشؤون الشباب، مستشار الأمن الوطني، رئيس مجلس أمناء المؤسسة الملكية للأعمال الإنسانية، وذلك بمبلغ 300,000 دينار. أيضاً قامت الغرفة بالتعاون مشترك مع محافظة العاصمة لإنشاء مساكن مؤقتة للعمالة الوافدة ونقلهم إليها، وذلك كإجراء احترازي، حيث ساهمت الغرفة بمبلغ 60,000 دينار. قامت الغرفة بمخاطبة أصحاب العقارات التجارية والهيئات والمجمعات التجارية في البحرين لتقديم تسهيلات في هذا الشأن للمستأجرين من أصحاب الأعمال، حيث لقيت الغرفة تجاوباً من أغلب هاي الجهات بشكل متفاوت. حولت الغرفة جميع خدماتها إلى خدمات ذكية مثل تجديد العضويات والتصديقات وإصدار الشهادات المنشأ، بالإضافة إلى خدمات جديدة مثل نظام الحجز المواعيد الإلكترونية والدليل التجاري الإلكتروني التي يعد مرجعاً هاماً لرجال الأعمال والمستثمرين محلياً وإقليمياً وعالمياً. ولم توقف الظروف المستجدة من عقد اجتماع الجمعية العمومية، حيث عقد الاجتماع في شهر أبريل الماضي عن البعد. تم تحقيق النصاب القانوني اللازم، وأقيمت للمرة الأولى بالنصاب قانوني صحيح عبر وسائل الاتصال الإلكتروني بصفة استثنائية. لذلك كان لنا السبق بين دول الخليج كأول غرفة تجارية في المنطقة تعقد اجتماع جمعيتها العمومية عن بعد. قامت لجنة الثروة الغذائية بالغرفة بجهود كبيرة في بداية الجائحة لضمان الأمن الغذائي في الأسواق التجارية، وتم الاتفاق على خطة بديلة لتوفير المواد الغذائية خلال هذه الفترة. أكيد الغرفة قامت بعد بأشياء ثانية، بس هاي أهم الأشياء اللي أحس إنه واجب إنه لازم نذكرها في المؤتمر.
إن شاء الله. طبعاً يعني الشكر الجزيل حق الغرفة، حق كل المبادرات اللي قامت فيها، وإن شاء الله الكل استفاد، وإن شاء الله يواصلون إن شاء الله بدون أي كلل طبعاً.
أكيد.
عندي بعد حبيت أسألك كمصممة أزياء، شنو هي النصيحة اللي تقدمينها لمصممات الأزياء بالذات أثناء فترة الجائحة؟
شو حبيبتي؟ هاي الجواب بقول لك بالإنجليزي لأن قلت شوي عربي شوي إنجليزي بيكون fair and square.
أخذي راحتك بس. Go on.
So there are a lot of advices that I can give, but I know that most of the fashion designers are already, they have adapted to the situation and they are cutting costs and going online and everything. But with my experience, two main important things. One of them is to give good service. I believe once you give your customer a luxurious shopping experience, they are definitely going to come back, and they're not going to come back alone. They're going to come back with their friends and their family. And Bahrain being a small market, word of mouth is the best marketing one can have. So I think this is something that we need to keep in mind. The second thing that I have to say is that every designer should have their own touch, and they should apply it in all their designs and all their styles, because you need to be associated with your touch, because eventually it becomes your trademark.
Yes. Well, thank you very much, Sada Betul Dadabai, على مشاركتك معنا. Thank you. Thanks a lot. طبعا I would like to move last but not least, of course, Ms. Aisha Saleh Al-Zaruni, the Chamber of Social Responsibility Executive, Al-Sharjah Chamber of Commerce. نوجه لك شكر. Thank you very much for being here with us today. I'm not sure if she's here.
أنا موجود. السلام عليكم.
هلا أستاذ عائشة. طبعا أستاذ عائشة, it's good to have you here with us today. نفس ما قلنا إذا حابة بالعربي بالإنجليزي, whatever you prefer. You can go ahead. I know and you have a presentation for us مع غرفة الشارجة. فplease go ahead.
شكرا. أول شيء محدثتكم عاشة الزرعوني. حابة أول شيء إني أنقل لكم تحياتي وتحيات سعادة عبد الله سلطان العويس رئيس غرفة تجارة وصناعة الشارقة، وسعادة المدير العام، وأصحاب السعادة أعضاء مجلس الإدارة وجميع موظفي الغرفة. نشكركم على إتاحة الفرصة أن خليتونا نشارك في مثل هذا الحدث الهام واللي نحن نفخر أن نكون جزء منه ومن نجاحه. أنا I can't share my screen لأن أنا مو بوست فما أعرف يعني.
Have you sent it to someone or only to me?
هي موجود عندكم.
أبو بكر if you allow.
أوكي خلاص أقد I can. بتشوفوا my screen?
Still, yes, I can see it.
Okay, fine. تشوفونه؟
Yes. واضح.
أوكي. أول شيء حابة أقول أن غرفة تجارة وصناعة الشارقة منذ تأسيسها من عام 1970 من 50 عام كانت داعمة للمرأة بكل مجالاتها، تدعم قضايا المرأة، تدعم مبادرات تمكين المرأة. وفي عام 2019 تأسس عندنا مركز تجارة 101 اللي هو مركز المشاريع الصغيرة والمتوسطة. هذا المركز له عدة أهداف، من أهم أهدافه أنه يحفز بيئة الأعمال الصغيرة والمتوسطة في الإمارة وفي الدولة، ويشجع المبادرين والمستثمرين المبتدئين أنهم يأسسون ويطورون أعمالهم من خلال هذا المركز، يوفرون مكاتب، منها يوفرون الكثير من الأجنحة والخدمات اللي تساعدهم على بناء أو على البدء في عالم الأعمال. في ظل هذه المبادرة تم إعفاء المنتسبات من النساء لمركز تجارة 101 للمشاريع الصغيرة والمتوسطة، تم إعفائهم من الرسوم الإيجارية حتى نهاية عام 2020 بسبب الجائحة وتأثرهم بها. أيضا شاركت أو سمحت للمنتسبات للمركز في المشاركة بالفعاليات العديدة اللي تقدمها الغرفة، مثل يوم المرأة الإماراتية تم عرض لوحات للمنتسبات لمركز تجارة 101 وإقامة معرض لهم في بهو الغرفة لمدة أسبوع بدون مقابل، ودعوة الكثير من الزوار اللي حضروا المعرض واستفادوا من الطرفين. أيضا يتم دعمهم دائما دعم إعلامي والتسويق لمشاريعهم عبر منصات كثيرة، منصات إعلامية ومقابلات تلفزيونية ومجلات وإنستغرام ومنصات إخبارية عدة في الدولة. أيضا تم دعم رائدات الأعمال أصحاب النشاطات اللي هي القطاعات المستهدفة للمركز، تم التركيز على أصحاب الأنشطة في تنظيم المعارض والمؤتمرات والضيافة من النساء من خلال تنظيم وإقامة المعارض في المراكز التابعة للغرفة. عندنا مركز إكسبو ومركز خرفكان، ذلك بتقديم خصم لهم وإتاحة الفرصة لهم أنهم يمارسون أنشطتهم فيها بمبلغ جدا رمزي. أيضا الشيء المهم اللي قامت به الغرفة بإعفاء رائدات الأعمال من رسوم عضوية الغرفة لجميع الصناديق دعم المشاريع الصغيرة والمتوسطة. نهاية أو عفوا قبل ما أختم بتكلم عن منصة الذهب للإماراتيين، واللي هي رابطة أقامتها غرفة تجارة وصناعة الشارقة، أسستها رابطة لصاغة الإمارات. هذه الرابطة تضم مجموعة من المصممين والمصممات الإماراتيات تتبناهم من أول مراحل الصياغة، من أول مراحل حتى التصميم والإنتاج النهائي للقطع والمجوهرات. توفر لهم منصات مجانية في المعارض الدولية والمحلية المهمة، مثل معرض جواهر الإمارات الذي يقام تحت رعاية غرفة تجارة وصناعة الشارقة. هذا المعرض اللي يضم مجموعة كبيرة من المجوهرات الذهبية والماسية والتصاميم الفريدة. أيضا يعتبر المعرض فرصة تسويقية مهمة لرواد الأعمال المحليين لعرض منتجاتهم واطلاع وتجارب المشاركين. أيضا الكثير من هذا المعرض يشهد مشاركين من مختلف الإمارة ومن أشهر العلامات المحلية والعالمية في الساعات والذهب والألماس وغيرها. هذا بالنسبة لمعرض جواهر الإمارات. وأيضا نوفر لهم منصات مجانية للمشاركة في معرض الشرق الأوسط في الساعات والمجوهرات، وأعتقد هذا المعرض غني عن التعريف. في هذه المناسبة أحب أني أدعوكم لزيارة منصة الذهب للإماراتيين اللي بإذن الله بتكون من 30 جون لين 3 جولاي. من هذا المنبر أنا أدعوكم لزيارتنا والتعرف عليها، وأيضا زيارة منصة الإماراتيين للذهب. آخر شيء قبل لا أختم بس حابة أتكلم عن المسؤولية المجتمعية للشركات اللي تقوم بها غرفة التجارة وصناعة الشارقة. هذه المنصة طبعا تهدف إلى ترسيخ مبادئ المسؤولية المجتمعية لدى الأعضاء. تشارك هذه الأعضاء توجههم نحو المسار والنهج الصحيح. أكثر المبادرات التي تقدمها الغرفة المبادرات المجتمعية في المجالات التالية، وهي خاصة بأصحاب الهمم: تمكين المرأة ودعم التعليم. في تمكين المرأة هناك الكثير من الفعاليات والكثير من المبادرات والكثير من الرعايات اللي تقدم لهم. ندعم مؤتمراتهم، ندعم فعالياتهم. أحيانا نحن ننظم فعاليات للمرأة دائما منذ تأسيس غرفة تجارة وصناعة الشارقة. اسمحوا لي أنا ما بطول عليكم، لكن هذا كان باختصار عن أن كيف الغرفة تقدم الدعم للمرأة منذ تأسيسها منذ 50 عام إلى اليوم. شكرا جزيلا.
حبيبتي أستاذة عايشة، مشكورة طبعا، والشكر خاص حق غرفة تجارة وصناعة الشارقة طبعا على كل هالمبادرات الحلوة اللي تقوم فيها، وإن شاء الله يكون لنا الشرف في تلبية دعوة معرض المجوهرات بعد
بإذن الله. نتشرف فيكم، حياكم الله.
شكرا الجزيل. طبعا حبيت أرحب عندنا من الحضور. إحنا كنا تكلمنا عن دور غرف التجارة والصناعة والومنز سوسايتيز في دعم يمكن المرأة أو هاي المجال في مجال الأزياء. عندنا طبعا نبي نوجه شكر حق رئيسة سيدات الأعمال الأستاذة أحلام جناحي يمكن من الحضور معنا اليوم. We would also like to thank the Turkish ambassador for his attendance here with us today. And I think this brings us to the end of our second session and of day one of the Global Women Virtual Forum fashion show. I would like to thank all our speakers, Ms. Manizha Wafaq, Her Excellency Dr. Amali Al-Asfour, Ms. Batul Mohammed Dabai, and Ms. Aisha Al-Zar'ouni for being here with us today. And I hope that it was a fruitful session for all the attendees. If we have any last comments or words that anyone would like to add, you can please go ahead. I see that Ms. Manizha would like to say something. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you very much. There are a few things that I wanted to mention earlier, but just wanted to see maybe your format would be to ask us questions, the panelists. So I wanted to mention about an initiative that we have started. That's a trademark called Made by Afghan Women. And it has a certification process with it. We are certifying products and companies that are producing good quality, that has good labeling and good packaging products. Especially, as I said, in the traditional industry, we say a lot of these handicraft are part of it, and as well as some of our jewelry making companies as well. So we certify them and we allow them to use the label Made by Afghan Women, and we promote them in the international markets. We had planned a number of a series of trade shows on exhibitions outside Afghanistan in various countries such as US, Canada, Norway, and some others, including some of the Middle Eastern countries. But unfortunately, due to pandemic, we could not fulfill that plan. And so we would very much look into really turning the Afghan clothing industry and as well as jewelry industry into a full fashion industry, because we do not have any fashion institutes or anything related to fashion in Afghanistan at this moment. And so the effort by the Chamber of Commerce, our all advocacy and lobbying with our international partners and as well as the Afghan government, is to introduce, first of all, a fashion subject, for example, in our art faculty of the Kabul University or at any other private university. But at the same time, we are trying to work with our women MSMEs who are owning these clothing productions and as well as jewelry productions to really produce at the international standards level. So when we go promoting their products outside for them, so that's presentable to the international buyers and international audience. And I would just I would like to end by showing you a short video of one of the companies, if I'm given permission to share my screen, so you could see how really from nothing, from zero, how our women have been very creative to turn the clothing industry into today's fashionable wearables in Afghanistan. So if I'm given the permission, then I should be able to share my screen.
Mustafa.
I'm hoping that everyone would be able to see. This is one of the chamber's members, Jama Designing Center. So here is the, as you can see, a very nice dress that has all different kinds of embroidery and as well as some bead work and so on. And so we just hope that we get international attention, we get international partnership, international investment with our these companies. So they really turn into international level of fashion industries and fashion factories. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Melissa. It's gorgeous. It is really gorgeous. We hope so as well. Anyone else?
Can I just share something?
Yes, sure. Go ahead.
Thank you. No, I would like to thank MedPoint and Sheikh Noura for such a very, very, very nice and important sector. And I would like to offer the support of business professional women through our new president, Dr. Catherine Bouchard, and also the Africa Business Council. We just made an agreement now with the Italian Expo Group here in Vicenza in Italy to support the women entrepreneurs and SMEs from all over the world in the jewelry industry. So they will facilitate very good booths. So I will be happy to work with MedPoint and all of you if you want to exhibit fashion jewelry. If you want to exhibit jewelry industry, it is the biggest jewelry fair in the whole world. It will be from 10 to 14 September. So we'll be happy to see how we can cooperate with MedPoint and all of you if you want to have a very good to exhibit the jewelries of the women entrepreneurs from across the world. Thank you very much.
I think that sounds amazing. But I will leave the floor to Sheikh Noura for any closing remarks and comment on that.
Thank you so much. شكرا دكتورة أماني على دعوتك لنا المشاركة، وبالعكس راح يشرفنا أن احنا نكون متواجدين معاكم مع Jewelry Entrepreneur in your event. And thank you so much for all the panelists, especially the Chamber of Commerce from Afghanistan, from Sharjah, and from Bahrain for all the support that you have given us. It's a really honor to have Chamber of Commerce of Bahrain as our strategic partners, and Chamber of Commerce of Afghanistan, and the participations of Chamber of Commerce of Sharjah. And thank you so much all for being there, especially all the friends and the audience who join us today. Please stay with us for the fashion show that will be, inshallah, on live in a few seconds after this panel.
Thank you very much, everyone. It was an honor to be here with you today for this very interesting talk where we discussed the role of women leaders for empowering talented women, and of course the role of chambers of commerce and women's societies in supporting the retail and fashion businesses, and especially throughout the pandemic. Thank you very much. And as Sheikh Noura said, don't forget to watch the fashion show on YouTube now, and we hope to see you in the second day tomorrow, inshallah. Thank you and have a good day.
Abu Bakr, if you may allow to share the YouTube link on the chat, that will be great for the people who don't have the YouTube link.
Okay. So I guess it's a goodbye from us?
Yes.
Okay. We hope to see you again tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. Mishkourin.
Thank you.
I would like to thank all the people who joined, especially all the supports in the chat. Maybe Sarah, until Abu Bakr share the link, maybe you would like to thank some of the VIP who joined, especially the Turkish ambassador as well. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for being part of the event. Thank you so much, Ms. Ahlam Janahi, for attending. And this is just some of the people that I noticed. I saw a lot of friends and amazing VIP people from all around the world. Thank you so much all for joining. I hope I don't want to mention all the people, and mashallah we have a lot, but thank you all for joining and for all the amazing comments. Maybe you can see if there's any questions on the chat, we can answer them from the audience.
Yes, I've been seeing in the Q&A, I don't see anything there. In the chat, I think it's mostly encouragement and sending regards. I would like to say hi to Ms. Gopika. We miss her today. Usually she's always here. If anyone has any question to any of our speakers, of course, they're more than welcome to write it in the Q&A section. And I guess the link for the YouTube is here now in the chat. I guess you can just click it to join, inshallah.
Yes. Thank you so much. See you on the YouTube. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Everyone, this is Shireen Mahmoud and I will be welcoming you to the Global Women Virtual Fashion Forum and Show. We are honored and pleased for your participation in this event. We would like to thank our sponsors, the French Fashion Institute, ESMOD, Dubai, and this is one of the oldest and known fashion schools in the GCC, and the Royal University for Women, which is known for being the first private university to have the bachelor degree of fashion design for women in the Kingdom of Bahrain. And also Lulu Group International, which is a multinational company that operates a chain of known hypermarkets and retail companies. The designers participating in the fashion show are both Omani fashion designers, Sahar Al-Aufi وجوغة فريدية. سحر العوفي مصممة فساتين أعراس ورائدة أعمال، مؤسسة شركة الانعكاس منذ عام 1998. وجوغة فريدية هي مصممة أزياء تقليدية متطور في محافظة ظفار. I hope you enjoy this event. Thank you.
What is your dream? Is it to become an entrepreneur? Design the clothes people wear?
Yes.
Or better yet, design the future.
That sounds great.
Perhaps you want to collaborate over architectural masterpieces, work for a large corporation, or represent your clients in court one day.
At RUW, I learn through experience.
Whatever your dream is, choosing the right university is key. Because the right university helps you realize your dream. By offering mentorship and guidance. By delivering quality education and research opportunities. By connecting you with real-world professionals. And understanding that a healthy mind needs a healthy body. By testing your skills and strengthening your resolve. By exposing you to new places and new ideas. and offering you opportunities to succeed.
I'm a member of the Student Council.
Our degrees include So, whatever your dream, RUW is the place for you.
Since 2006, ESMOD Dubai is the only French higher education institute fully dedicated to fashion in the GCC.
Creativity, innovation, and technicity is our DNA. We shape the next leaders of the fashion industry with professionalism.
ESMOD Dubai offers the Bachelor of Fashion Design program and short courses as well as fashion business programs.
Since 2012, we are the only fashion school in the world supporting the fashion brands of our graduates with our own incubator retail store located in City Walk.
يتيح الألم نويت قبل الغروب وطلعتي لجناك دروب قصدي يتيح الألم يا خيبة عن خيبة عن يا خيبة عن خيبة عن مرمى بدار الكرم يا جرح رد زهير بالشوق جيتك يا طير الحب فيني عظم يا جرح رد زهير بالشوق جيتك يا طير